Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. Today we're taking a look at the brand new champion, Hwei, instead of Gwen, because I skipped a week because I don't want to play Gwen, I want to capitalize on the new champion release. Also, I'm sick and tired of fighting goddamn diamond players, and this guy's name is Hwei, and he's played a bunch of Hwei already, and did I mention he's diamond? I'm gold, I don't deserve this. I am very excited to play the new champion today, though. I have played a couple games of him now, at least, not like Briar, when I did the casual champion review for Briar. All the comments, you fellas realizing that I didn't know I could reactivate my W for like the good first 15 minutes of the video. So no, with Hwei, I now understand how he works, how he's got the 3 different spell books, 10 different abilities. Hopefully, I actually know what to do this time, though my lane opponent is Hwei. You know what it is also to do? What amazing fan art section. I kind of short notes for all the fellas who thought I might have been doing Gwen this week. But look, so many amazing Hwei fan arts. It's beautiful. It's become a bit of a meme. My Twitch chat while I was streaming kept telling me I look like Hwei, and I don't. And then I posted that on Twitter, and I said, please tell me they're wrong. And then they posted that stupid anime meme, and Thank you, fellas, though, who made the fan art section. It's wonderful. I'm going to get into the game now. See, I'm going to be fighting clearly a much more experienced Hwei than I. His name is Hwei, which is his full name, like Kara Jin. It's an Ionian naming scheme, which is also fitting because he has a lot of connections to Jin. So let's get into it. What is Hwei's lore? Well, Hwei was raised in the temple of Kohen, or Kohen? I don't know how to words. And he was the inheritor of it. So when he became of age, he would become the leader of this temple. And as a child, he was a very kind soul, very helpful person that just wanted to see people be happy. And he was just a really talented painter. Not just because he was a talented normal painter, but because he was talented in the ways of paint magic, which if you fellas have seen Teen Titans, or I guess specifically Raven, you'll know it operates in a similar fashion to how his power fluctuates depending on his emotions. It's a very important thing that people who have paint magic powers are able to control their emotions, because if they can't, then they become unstable and a danger to the people of the temple, and they are banished from it. And this would come to haunt Hwei a bit, as one day he was painting for his masters a beautiful ocean. So beautiful, with all the crashing waves and all the raging energy of an ocean. And unfortunately, his emotions got the better of him, and he imagined the ocean too thoroughly and created a literal tidal wave, or I guess like a flood in his own temple, and nearly drowned his masters. Thankfully, though, all his masters survived, though they would in turn enforce a lot more strict rules on him to try and keep his powers under control. But Hwei was fascinated in a bit of a morbid curiosity way at the amount of power he seemed to have now, and in secret, well, he would abide by the master's rules and paint the way they wanted to. In secret, he would expand his reach. He would paint a lot more with his raw emotions at night while they weren't looking. And he continued like this for many, many years until he reached adulthood, and he was ready to take ownership of the temple. But that was until one day, Kara Jin arrived to his temple, which I do find weird. They openly welcome him, and he stays there for like a whole season, which I don't know if they didn't know who Jin was. Granted, KO, what was not KO, what is this thing called? Kohen? I believe it's called Kohen, is an island of Ionia. It's not the mainland Ionia. It doesn't make sense either way, because how would they not know who Jin is? He is a rampant serial murderer, but also, if they did know who he is, then they just let a rampant serial murderer stay at their house. Regardless, Jin stays there for an extended period of time, and they grow a bit close together, exchanging different ideas about art, and they don't always see eye to eye, but they become good friends. But Jin is constantly pushing Hwei to live up to his full potential, and well, one day, as Jin is deciding to leave, he's got to leave the temple forever, he says to Hwei, I challenge you to a paint magic battle or something like that. And they fight, and Jin pushes Hwei to unleash his full power in a brilliant display of color and energy. Hwei wins, I think, and Jin's just impressed. He's like, well, you did good, Hwei. I shall leave tomorrow because I want to go see the lotuses bloom. That's a metaphor. But the next morning, Hwei awoke to find that his entire temple was on fire. 4 historical paintings had been destroyed. 4 of his masters were laid out on the ground, and the fire was started on the 4th level of the temple. Because Jin has OCD or something. But during all the chaos, weirdly enough, Hwei was not panicking like I am right now. I'm losing. to a support. Weirdly enough, though, Hwei did not panic. He saw the beauty in the flames, in the art that was surrounding him, the true power that he could one day have as well. And unfortunately, upon leaving the temple, he was the only survivor. So he's kind of left to pick up the pieces and mourn for the loss. But as he returned back to his temple, he found a Jin trap. A shrapnel of a Jin trap, I should say. And he realized that Jin was the one who did it. And he didn't really know how to feel, whether to mourn or to be vengeful or be angry. And so he leaves the island and realizes he's going to use his powers, you know, depending on the situation at hand. So now he's trying to learn the proper full extent of his power while traveling Ionia to make people's lives better or worse. And that's where his story ends, which is kind of weird because it's like the perfect setup for a revenge story. In fact, I think Riot's doing all those new things with the whole champion rivals in game, like they had for Rengar and Kha'Zix, and now they're going to add to Nasus Renekton and Jax Bel'Veth, I think, for some reason. But Jin and Hwei are going to be rivals, and that is a perfect setup, especially for a story that, you know, he trusted Jin. Jin betrayed him and killed his entire temple and burned it to the ground. That's a perfect setup for a revenge story. And he's not vengeful. The thing is, if he randomly encounters Jin, he plans to unleash his full power and potentially kill him. But he does have a bit of a respect for Jin for opening his eyes to his true power. Am I dead? Oh, I'm alive. Oh, what? But I think it's a nice twist, because we've seen that time and time again, where a character gets betrayed by a friend or a loved one or an acquaintance or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's it. I have to dedicate my entire life to being vengeful and killing everybody and getting revenge on this guy who wronged me. But Hwei is different. He kind of learned from the experience. He's going to try and be a better person because of this experience. And for being at least different, admittedly that story trope has been done before, because every story trope has been done before, but for a character in League where everyone is out to kill everybody and half of the roster has killed children, I keep forgetting how long that ability range is. It's weird to try and play him and commentate at the same time because he has so many abilities. Wait, I can... Oh my god, money. There are two really weird things about Hwei lore-wise, though, that I found, and one is that it was very much hinted at that he would have some kind of connections to demons in a way, which there's none of that here. I thought maybe it would have been like a demon of sorrow or demon of sadness, and yeah, I would have loved some new demon lore, but I think we've already seen now with Neela and also Swain, we have our mortal being bound to a demon. Am I dead? So we've seen the mortal being bound to a demon before. We've done that song and dance. So paint magic's a very unique idea for League anyway. We don't have anything like it. So I think it's interesting. But really importantly, we have a new color story. An actual new color story for a champion. We haven't had one since Melio. They said they weren't going to do it anymore. So I don't know why Hwei got one. And it was really nice. It was some context to explain what all his powers do, what he's doing. You know, he's using his red magic disaster is used to burn people who have done wrong. Like mainly he was doing it to Inoxian. Serenity was used to heal a grieving person, to help the people in need. Torment was him reliving his memories with Jin. Damn it. It was really cool. I think that's what's missing a lot and why color stories are so necessary, because they add so much extra context. Even if it's just a little short read. Hwei's short story only lasts a few minutes, but it adds that tiny little bit of context you need to understand where he is now after his bio. As Briar and Neferi, I think, are so perfect examples of what not having a color story means for the champion. Ow! I don't know what I'm doing. Like Neferi, we have no idea what she's doing right now or where she is. Briar apparently has connections with Talon, but we've never seen anything about that. It's just inferred that she has. A color story where she meets him would have been nice. But yeah, the lore, great setup. I hope they do more with him in the future, especially because he has a strong connection to Jin. I'd like to see what he has to say for Akali and Shen and Irelia and all these other Ionians. And it's kind of cool they incorporate that lore into the magic as well. His Q magic is all about the magic that he uses to hurt people who have done wrong, so it's all symbolizing fire, whereas Serenity's the one that he uses to help people, and it's all about water, and Torment, the purple one's all about secrets and vision and memories. It's really cool. But enough about his lore. His design is... Well, I think Riot saw all the memes people posting about saying Aphelios was a twink, even though he doesn't really look like one. And they said, you think Aphelios is a twink? Bitch, please stand back and let us make a real one. And for that, Hwei has an actually very unique body type compared to other champions in League. There isn't a male champion, especially in League, quite like him, like this scrawny, the skinny, the exposed collarbone. He's very immediately recognizable. His face too, like the malnourished face, and I think it works really well for him. Makes him look like a sad boy all the time. Oh, please. Oh, no. I'm so bad. I keep missing everything. Oh, but I'm the best player in the whole world. That's my teammate. I'm the best player in the whole world. Weirdly, though, his clothes, like, I get what they're trying to do here. They're trying to have the different kinds of color schemes. Like, he has the green, the orange, and the blue, so mimicking his main 3 spellbook colors while not being an exact carbon copy. And I think that works. The thing is, though, they're kind of a bit dull. For a character who's so much about creativity and vivid colors and expression, his clothing is pretty dull in color. Maybe that's a metaphor for something like how he has all this crazy colorful magic inside him and it just hasn't bubbled to the surface yet. In that regard, sure, that works. But it makes him look a little bit visually dull, does it not? I think Winterbless Hwei actually does a better job of conveying those color schemes, the nice, soft purple and blue. A bit colder, yes, but I think aesthetically it feels a lot more coherent to how his character is. The greens and the reds are kind of in contrast to his more dour nature, how he is most of the time, though. His whole character is about, I don't want to die to Leona, is about being in confliction with how he's supposed to use his powers. It makes him a bit of a nice contrast to Vex, though, especially the little paint swirl that he has. Vex is all about being dark and dour. The other, like, it's probably like a trifecta of the emo champions in League now, I guess. We have Vex, Aphelios, and now Hwei. Damn it. And while Aphelios is the quiet, mute emo, Vex is the angry goth who's upset with everybody, and Hwei is kind of the sad one, the one who sees the beauty in life but is scared of his potential, but also fascinated by it, and I really like that. Personality-wise, he's kind of an overcomplicated disaster, but that actually translates really well to his gameplay, which I think for a lot of people will be the most interesting thing about him, because he's the first champion in the whole game that has 10 abilities. That's not true. That's Nidalee and Elise and Jace are pretty much the exact same thing, except they're more about form shifting. So when you use, Cougar form for Nidalee, or Paka form as it should be called, please give Nidalee an ASU, you're locked out of all the human abilities. But Hwei has access to all his abilities at the same time, and I've only played a little bit of him so far, granted. But after playing him a little bit and seeing other people play him, I'm going to say it, I think this is the only champion Riot has marketed as a high-skill character in the past, whenever Azir came out. The last supposedly high-skill cap champion since Azir that actually feels like a high-skill cap character. And I'll explain what I mean. So obviously you have all these abilities at your disposal, 10 abilities at any given time. The reason why I think it's high-skill cap is, one, because you can't button mash on this character. If you're trying to spam for Q to be on cooldown, if you're button mashing, then you're going to accidentally press QQ, or you're going to press QE, or you're going to spam improperly. You're going to get the wrong ability, because it's a detriment. That's the thing why I think it's a high skill cap. Long cooldowns. Like, look at this W. 14-second cooldown, man. If I misuse that W, well, I don't get to use it for probably the entirety of the next fight. So if you miss your abilities, you're punished, and that's especially because I always compare the other 200-year champions, and that would be like Yone and Aphelios and Akshan. I'm so dead because Yone and Aphelios and Akshan are all high skill cap characters. You can't see my quotation marks, but high skill cap characters because they have a lot of tools at their disposal. Thing is, they can miss everything. I like to have a bit of a metaphor if you're like fighting Malphite versus fighting Yone. Like, fighting Malphite is like fighting a guy who has one absolutely enormous boxing glove, and it's probably gonna hurt quite a bit. However, fighting Yone is like fighting a guy who has like 200 arms, each with much smaller boxing gloves. Yeah, each individual hit isn't going to hurt as much, but the collective number of 200 boxing gloves is going to hurt a lot more, and it's going to be impossible to dodge because there's way too many goddamn boxing gloves. That's how I feel about all these high skill cap characters like Yone or like Aphelios or like Akshan, is it doesn't matter. You can miss all your abilities, you still have the upside of being an AD champion because you always have auto attacks as backup. How many times have you died to a Yone who misses ult, doesn't hit anything on E, misses every Q, but auto attacked you to death and he killed you anyway? It didn't matter that he's high skill cap because if you have that many tools at your disposal, eventually some of them are gonna work. Die, bitch. The nice thing about Hwei that they made if I do this, like if I use QE, well my Q's on cooldown. I can't use QW right after. I can't use QQ right after. I have to time my spell rotations, which I'm not doing very well right now. Using one form of my Q or one form of my W or one form of my E puts that entire ability on cooldown. So I do have to choose my tools wisely even though I have so many. And I really like that. I think that is actual proper implementation of making a high skill cap character. Proper timing and thinking that has to go into what abilities you use, because whatever one you use, you're going to be locked out of, what, 6 more? And I think that's not only very cool that there's a champion that has 10 proper abilities they can use any given time, but also because there is a downside. There is risk and reward. Because if I use my WE to get mana back in lane, well, now I don't have a shield or a speed buff. If I use EW to throw some vision, well, now I don't have access to the fear or the AoE crowd control. That's really cool. My only hope is that it's obvious this guy is going to be super weak. Like, I'm playing him on day 1 right now, and he feels pretty good after only a couple games. Like, that Scion died super fast. But it's definitely going to take a long time to really get used to how this character works and what kind of combos to do. I've already found, like, using this move in combination with this move. I double tapped it. Using in combination with a QE is a really good combo because you lock them in this little burn area. It's like a big rumble ult kind of thing. Like, there we go. I'm in a mobile mage. You caught me. I'm probably dead here. Dying to goddamn supports. It was definitely a really risky move to make a champion with this many abilities. And I think because of that, he's never going to get skins, dude. Like, there's a reason why Kayn doesn't get any skins, or Aphelios. You know, Aphelios has gotten skins quite a bit more recently. But these champions who have all these abilities and particle effects or extra models, Hwei is never going to get any skins, especially because they're going to have to try and make them unique. Like, make sure each spellbook is recognizable, which I mentioned this briefly in the Winter Blessed Rapid Fire skin review, but I don't think they did a good job with that with Winter Blessed. Even though I do like Winter Blessed Hwei, all the abilities are blue. I can't tell which is which. I feel like he's one of those characters that will only get more engaging to play over time and feel really rewarding once you've mastered it. Again, I feel like there, I use my EE to fear him, get some slows, use my Ionia move to summon another Ionian champion, and then the burn kills him. Just like that. Expert Hwei maneuvers in this house. But having all those abilities at your disposal, it makes him very confusing. Playing him for the first time, this is my 3rd time playing him now because, again, I've been fighting a lot of diamond players for whatever reason. Thank you, Riot Games, for punishing me for not buying a Smurf account. He's going to be very confusing to learn and to play against. I think, granted, in time people will learn what he does and what every ability rotation is. Again, it's going to be confusing with skins. But I don't know if he'll turn out like Cassante, because Cassante was very, very weak at the start. People didn't know how to adjust to him because he was a tank with a bruiser's playstyle, so bruisers didn't know how to do it, and tanks didn't know how to do it, and eventually people learned how to play him, and I still love Cassante, okay? As a character, he's amazing. I'd rather bite off my own fingers than play against that character. So I don't know what's going to happen to... Whoa! It's working! I'm using my abilities, the shield, slow field... It's working. It's been a rocky start. Granted, I think because I'm fighting people that are well and above my skill level, so it's been very hard to learn a very mechanically complex character. But I can definitely see myself playing this character more often in the future. This is very intriguing. Only day 1 in, and I'm sure his win rate is abysmal right now because of his high skill cap and frankly weird kit. It's gonna definitely take a long time to learn how to play him properly, but I imagine he is gonna be very rewarding once I actually get some games into him. And I think I'm going to. I really do. I think I'm gonna play this guy some more maybe when his popularity's dwelled down a bit from, you know, being the brand new boy on the block, and I don't have to play goddamn quick play to get him in the first place, which I was so excited for quick play, and I gotta be honest, this sucks. Matchmaking is horrible, and you can't pick 2 solo lanes. Like, what is that? It's weird. I was excited for Hwei for a completely different reason than what he ended up being. I was excited for some new demon lore, because again, it was very hinted that it was going to be something to do with demons. He's got nothing to do with demons, and yet I end up quite liking him. In pretty much every way, I think his lore is pretty engaging. I like his design mostly. I think the design's the... Oh, my goodness. Hi, Alistar. The design is probably the weakest part of him for me. Because I think he could be a bit more vibrant and extravagant, though again, maybe it's some kind of metaphor. And his gameplay is very confusing, but I think it's going to be really rewarding once I learn how to play it properly. Hopefully it won't end up like I said with Cassante, although Cassante's not really super high skill, but something like a Kali, for example. Or if the person you're playing against knows how to play a Gali, well, you might as well just surrender now. I'd like to surrender now. Oh, and of course, the fact that they finally gave a new champion a color story. I really hope this isn't some random one-off thing. The people who are making Hwei were just that... Oops. The people who were making Hwei were just that extra passionate about him that he's like the one character who gets a color story. I really want them to bring those back because I really liked Hwei's. It was short and sweet but added so much. Hwei, more like good day and good evening. Damn it. I think the game's ending though, so ended the game 11-11 and 10, almost 11-11-11, but that was fun. I enjoyed myself with Hwei. Thank you, folks, for stopping by this week's Casual Champion Review. Next week is Gwen, for sure. I won't skip champions again unless they're a week that I hate them, like Gwen. I'll see you for them, though. Okay, goodbye.